So remember when the Panthers facing the Patriots back in the preseason when Cam Newton injured his left foot. Now originally the Panthers called it just a mild left foot sprain, but come to find out it was a Lisfranc injury after he re-aggravated that foot in Game 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But what exactly does this all mean? Time now to break it down a little bit more with podiatrist Dr. Matthew Wagoner. Matthew, thanks for being here. And let's just get right to it. Lisfranc injury, what is it and how does this maybe differ from a normal foot sprain?
Absolutely. So Lisfranc, I've heard more about Lisfranc in the last week than I probably ever thought I would hear about. Lisfranc's actually named after a French surgeon that discovered this in Napoleon's army. That's what the history of it behind it is. But what an actual Lisfranc injury is a midfoot injury. In the midfoot area, you have these long bones called metatarsals, and then right behind is another group of bones. And you have a bunch of ligaments that connect those bones together. So what can happen is those ligaments can be sprained, kind of stretched out. They can even tear. You get some fractures or dislocations of that midfoot area.
Now, obviously, it's affecting Cam Newton, and we actually have an example of the Lisfranc injury right over here to our right. Doctor, what exactly, I know this is a little more severe, but what are we looking at here?
So this is a much more severe x-ray than probably one that Cam has, but this is just to kind of demonstrate what's going on. So you have these long bones called metatarsals that go up and down. These are the toes. And then right behind it's another group of bones. And you have a bunch of ligaments that stabilize this midfoot area. And what can happen is these ligaments can tear, then get stretched out. And in this case, you can actually see that the bones, these metatarsals, have all kind of shifted over to the right-hand side, and they're not in the great alignment like they should be. This bone should be kind of sitting over here, this should be sitting over here. So this is a much more severe example of what's kind of going on with a more severe Lisfranc injury. And it seems like in Cam's case, he has a little bit more of a mild sprain. So I would imagine on the x-rays, and again, these aren't his x-rays and I haven't seen them, but I would imagine that these bones are pretty in good alignment, that the ligament itself has been strained or really stretched out. That's kind of been causing his problems.
It's funny, when you see that x-ray, after you know what you're looking at, that looks extremely, extremely painful.
Definitely.
Now, I know all these cases are different. The Panthers don't have a timetable for Cam's return. But how long do you think it takes to recover from an injury like this? And is surgery, is it always needed or just sometimes needed?
Surgery's not always needed, but the important thing that we've kind of learned through Cam is not to play during an injury, not to kind of like work through it and stuff. So it's really important that, one, we get an x-ray in a timely fashion to see what's going on, make sure the bones themselves haven't been disrupted, and also to get like a CT scan or an MRI to really look at it. So more mild cases, usually will be non-weight bearing in a non-weight bearing boot for several weeks, or weight bearing depending on the injury, and then progressing with some really good physical therapy and rehab. And more severe cases, if there is any kind of displacement, then typically those do need surgery to help stabilize that midfoot area to help prevent any long-term issues.
And you've got to think, as a quarterback, you're putting a lot of pressure on that foot when you're throwing the football. Cam, he's a big runner, we all know that. It could maybe take a lot longer than fans would hope. They're saying about 6 or so weeks, and again, you haven't seen the x-rays, but would you think that's a realistic timetable for a return of a mild Lisfranc injury, 6 or so weeks?
Yeah, for a mild, that's kind of, I think, early, maybe a little bit. Again, it really depends, but I would imagine at least maybe a little bit longer than 6 weeks or so to get back to his level of playing.
Well, we'll temper our expectations, hopefully sooner rather than later, but with this kind of injury, obviously you got to take some time. But the good news, Kyle Allen, 2-0 in place of the injured Cam Newton. We just hope QB1 can return when fully healthy and not re-aggravate it more than he really could be out the entire season.
Absolutely.
But Dr. Wagner, appreciate the time as always and insight. Thank you.
Thank you.